All right, welcome back, everybody, to Slurpathon 2022, where we have a Cacodemon about to run Doom 64 Lost Levels. Watch me die, Max. Oh, actually, it's Zelllooo. Psych. Passing it off to you, Zelllooo.
Thanks, Dot. So, little Kekko's gonna get a lot of fun time in this little Doom 64 run here. So, I'm very excited. This is gonna be Doom 64. This is the 2020 remaster of the original game. It's a really, really good port of the game, and also adds this new category that we're gonna be doing. Where is my mouse? There's my mouse. So this is going to be the Lost Levels. The Lost Levels is in a short little mini campaign added to the 2020 release right here. It features 6 brand new levels by community member Kaiser, who worked on this game very extensively. So big shout outs to Kaiser. So we're going to be doing that. We're going to be doing Lost Levels, and we're going to be doing it on Watch Me Die difficulty, which is the hardest in this game. It's the equivalent of PC Doom Ultraviolence. And we're going to be doing Max, which means 100% kills and 100% secrets on every level. This is a very short but very intense category. So I'm hoping I will do it some justice, because this is actually the first time we're doing this category for any marathon. So we'll go ahead and get started in 3, 2, 1, go.
Best of luck. Best of
Thank
luck.
you. So pretty much normal Doom mechanics apply right here. Movement, you're going to see me strafing everywhere. Strafing works like pretty much a lot of the old 90s FPSs, where if you run in 2 different directions at the same time, those movement vectors are added together and you get a speed bonus, which is roughly about, I think, 28% faster. I am actually very low on shells. Okay, well, we can get some shells up here. So that's going to be my main movement. Combat in this game is very difficult to manage because of having to balance strafing and aiming. And supplies in this category are also kind of at a premium, especially health. So we're going to grab that Berserk pack to fill up. That refills me to 100% and increases my punching power. This category does give me some early weapons, like the chain gun right here, and the super shotgun, which is going to be kind of the main workhorse. I managed to skip a trigger. I will talk about that more later. That's impressive. So these are going to be like 2 of our big weapons, and we do get a rocket launcher later. But since this is 100% kills and 100% secrets, we're going to be doing a lot of killing, a lot of exploring, and a lot of panicking. Just like pretty much every other Doom game, this is a very, very luck-based game. Execution's heavy, but damage is random. Damage enemies deal to you is random. Their aiming is random. There's just a lot of randomness, and a lot of getting a good time in any Doom game is just taking the best plan you can, making decisions on the fly, and just working with what you got. So we're going to grab another secret right here. Use the chain gun to lock enemies down. Chain gun is really, really good in 64. There were a lot of balance changes made in 64 compared to the original PC games. And the chain gun is actually faster in 64, which makes it quite good at stun locking enemies. So we're going to grab that soul sphere right there. That's going to be the last secret in this level. So we've got our rocket launcher now. I'm going to try and group these Hell Knights up. They're not really cooperating here. There we go.
So, do you mind if I just hop in with a couple donations, and also to explain the next bid war incentives?
Yes, go for it.
Awesome. Cool. So we have a $25 donation coming in from More for the comment saying, excited to see Zelllooo kill the most amount of demons. Thank you so much. And then we also have $20 from Windu with a message saying, good luck on the run, Zelllooo. Thank you both so much for both of those donations. Now, if you notice down on the tracker, a bid war has opened up, or 3 bid wars have opened up for Final Fantasy X, naming 3 of the specific characters, so Tidus, Valfer, and then Bahamut from Final Fantasy X. When you submit your donation, you can provide a name to us, 8 characters max, in your message, and that will run the bid war for that specific amount to start that category. So I'll be reaching out in chat, but if you do further on donate towards this bid war, please provide a name to 8 characters max. Thank you.
Alright, so I got beat up really hard. Lost Souls in this game are murderous. Lost Souls are incredibly aggressive and fast, and one of them chased me and had my back against a corner. So it was very difficult to do anything, and I lost about, 100 health. So, like I said, this category is very scary, very difficult. So we're just going to clean up the last bits of enemies in this room here. I'm going to be saving before every level ends, just to make sure I get 100% on the results screen here. So, all good there. All right. So I'll talk about plot a little bit because there actually is a little bit of lore with the Lost Levels and why they were made. So this takes place after the main campaign in Doom 64. We have the Resurrector, basically the Mother Demon's sister. And so he recreates everything. So we start on another moon base, and then we end up here back in Hell. And this is actually kind of made in order to tie this game together with Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal. So it's kind of neat that they tied the universes all together. So we're going to be doing a couple tricks right here that are really, really important. First, we're going to get rid of all these enemies using the chain gun. And then I'm going to very carefully shoot here. There we go. So I hit a switch that was way off in the distance that you're not supposed to be able to get from that angle. So that opens up a secret much earlier to get supplies. Now I'm going to do the second trick right here. We're going to use a strafe run in a very specific way. And we got it first try, so you'll see nothing happened. And that is actually what you want to see. So using a very specific position, I was able to run right past the trigger before it could activate. So the game doesn't really do like a smooth motion with the movement. It's more like think of lots and lots of very, very fast teleports. And what I was able to do was get past a trigger on the ground known as a line def. And I was able to just kind of run past it and be on one side of it one frame, and then on the other side of it another frame without actually triggering it. So that skipped a whole bunch of enemies that I no longer have to kill. For the 100% kills in this game, if an enemy does not spawn, then it does not count towards the max, which means you can get 100% without needing to kill everything if you're very smart. And this is might come into play a little bit later in this level, depending on how this Arachnotron decides to behave. So we're going to do a little bit of infighting here, hopefully. Yes, they started infighting with each other, so monsters can infight, which is really, really nice. They can deal with them. I'm going to deal with this Arachnotron for just a little bit. We're going to deal a little bit of damage, and we'll get him on the way out. So you can not only block enemies from spawning by skipping line defs, there's also a mechanic where you can have an enemy stick over the spawn position when an enemy would spawn, and now they don't spawn. So I just blocked another Arachnotron from popping into the room, which was really nice and saves me a lot of time and effort. So you don't get a whole lot of spawn blocks in this category, but they're very useful where you can get them. So this is one of the scariest rooms coming up in this category right here. I need to actually do a little bit of secret hunting, not just for this category, but also for a very useful weapon. So that activates the BFG secret. And the BFG, this is the only BFG that we're going to get in this campaign aside from the one that's at the very end. So we definitely want to grab this one. BFG is an energy weapon. It has some pretty weird characteristics that you wouldn't really expect for like a super weapon. So let me focus for a bit because this next part coming up is one of the most dangerous in the entire run. And hopefully we're not going to die to these pain elementals. Okay, so now that's done. So now we just need to get rid of the remaining enemies. We're going to use one more BFG shot here. Okay, so the BFG has kind of a weird quirk with how it fires. You see the big, giant ball. That does between 100 and 800 damage, I think, and multiples of 100. That is not where the main source of damage actually comes from with the BFG. When the ball detonates, it takes for just a little bit, and then the game checks Doomguy's position at the angle the shot was fired at. And what it does is from there, he shoots a whole bunch of invisible tracers from his eyes. Just like that. So those tracers do probably about 2/3 of the actual full damage of the BFG. So you can use it for crowd control, or you can use it on really, really strong enemies by getting right up in their face and giving them a hug, basically. So that's going to be really critical right here as I deal with this Baron. Because Barons have a lot of health, and we just knock them out in one shot. Also, pain elementals are among the most dangerous enemies in the entire game. They're normally just annoying in PC2. In 64, they are incredibly dangerous. Not only do they spawn 2 Lost Souls at a time, if you try and block those Lost Souls from spawning using your body, they explode for explosive damage and probably just kill you instantly. Yeah, it's...
Or do you mind if we just like hop in?
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't.
Oh, good. Go ahead and hop in if you need to.
first and foremost, there's a lot of love going on in chat right now for your Zelllooo, so it's really awesome to see. Thank you so much, chat, for just like providing the love. Put some hearts in chat, please. Also, we just got a $10 donation in from Awesome Waves, naming valid for incentive for Final Fantasy X Tech Pod. Thank you so much for the $10 donation.
Yeah, thank you all for the donations. Really appreciate everybody's support. Okay, so this level's really scary to do in this category for getting all the kills because there's all these imps that are on the ledges. So I have a very specific route to try and get rid of them all, and I need to be counting to make sure I get everything. It's also important to note the chain gun does have some knockback when it hits enemies, so I have to be careful not to accidentally push the imps like past where I can hit them and make sure everything's dead. What's the last one here? I want to make sure everything's very dead. This is probably the scariest level to do 100% with as far as kills go. You can see these cacodemons are all just already kind of floating around everywhere. That's going to be kind of a major theme of this level. We're just gonna kind of roam around, and we have a cleanup route to try and deal with them as best we can, but a lot of this is gonna be improv. So we're gonna hopefully get some infighting going on. I'm not seeing a whole lot of infighting happening, so that kind of worries me. Okay. So we're gonna do some cleanup here. We're also gonna be grabbing a lot of ammo because we definitely need shells, especially. The super shotgun is extremely good. It fires 2 shells, but it basically does 3 times the damage of a normal shotgun shell, shotgun shot. So it's incredibly efficient and very useful. So we're going to clean out one last Arachne right here, activate this. We're going to get this Berserk to refill our health. And now comes a very, very scary part. I'm going to use this BFG shot to hopefully clear out the pain elemental up ahead. Okay, that went fine. I'm going to use a couple rockets, hopefully. Okay, I didn't get the Lost Soul in my face. They can charge, and you just explode for rocket damage right next to you, and it's very painful. Ow. Speaking of painful, Hell Knight Fireballs are very painful. They can do like 80, 90 damage without armor protection. So we're gonna grab this secret right here. I guess I can explain the armor system real quick. Armor does reduce damage. How much is reduced by is dependent on what type of armor you have. So you have green combat armor and you have blue combat armor. The green armor reduces damage by 1/3 and the blue armor reduces by 1/2. So you always want to take blue armor where possible. And that's a lot of the reason where if you have a lot of blue armor still remaining, then you don't want to pick up green armor. Now, if you pick up the little armor bonuses on the ground, they apply to whatever armor type you have at the moment. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of cleanup. That gets rid of all the enemies on the cliff. We're going to do some very fast cleanup with this invincibility right here. We managed to get one spawn block on one of the Rectrons. We're going to get rid of all these enemies here. And while this invincibility is still active, we're going to get in this room. And we're just going to smash their faces in with G. Quickly get over here. We want to get rid of this pain elemental while we still have it active. It's getting away. Okay, good. So do that. Quickly get rid of all the remaining enemies. The bridge actually provides really good cover, so we kind of use that as kind of a way to mitigate all these enemies from ganging up on me. I'm gonna do just a little bit of cleanup over here. I think there's still an Arachne. I hear it. I can't see it though. There it is. Okay, so let's do a little bit of cleanup. We're gonna just kind of walk around here. I didn't miss any cacodemons. It's very easy to miss them. There's one. Yeah, there were a lot of enemies in this level. So we're gonna take the med kit. Yeah, there's some really, really cool fake 3D in this level, as Kovic points out. So we need to kill all these enemies. There are several triggers in this game, especially in this campaign, where you need to kill enemies in order to make a scripted event happen. I have more rocks than I need. I should have used them earlier. Okay, so we'll pick up a little bit of health. We're actually going to do a key grab right here, hopefully. I'm going to set this up, get in this corner, and there we go. Pick it right up off the pedestal. So, if you manage to run at things at the proper angle and with enough speed, I'm going to save that. If you run at things with the proper angle and enough speed, then Doomguy kind of clips into walls or kind of terrain for just a frame before clipping back out, and you can actually grab stuff that's just out of reach normally by doing that. So we saved a couple switch presses, which is pretty nice. Hopefully not going to get owned by these guys right here. We just have just a few more enemies to get out of here. Oh, that hurt. I'm actually going to reload because I do need some health to start the next level. So it's better I just reload and get my health back. That's a really nice thing about the remaster is the quick saving. There's no quick saving in the original game. And just thankfully, it makes things a lot easier. And specifically for Doom 64, we don't require a single segment run. This game doesn't have a working demo system like PC Doom does, so we don't require a single segment. Alright, there's a 100% right there. So we want a little bit of health coming right here, because we can get sniped by shotgunners. Hit scan enemies are like enemies that do their damage instantly, and shotgunners are notorious because they do a ton of damage, and they just decide to hit you whenever they feel like it. So do a little bit of easy cleanup here. Got some bullets left over. Just do some cleanup. Get rid of that imp now so he doesn't go in the other room. So this is another kill everything to progress area. I wanted these guys to group up, they're not grouping up. That's okay. I'm gonna activate this secret right here. So we've got a plasma gun. Unfortunately, the plasma gun is very bad in this game. It's nowhere near as good as it is in PC Doom. It's very slow. Although it does have no cooldown whenever you stop firing. But we won't be using plasma that much. Really, all of our energy is just going to go to BFG.
Every single time I watch you run this game, it makes me want to play. Like, every single time.
There's just so much always going on. And
it's so awesome.
It's great, but it's also really difficult to commentate at the same time.
I could imagine you're doing fantastic, as always.
Like I said, this is the first time I've done this category for a marathon. I didn't really plan out my commentary nor plan out how I wanted to talk about the basics of the run either, so I'm glad everything's going okay. Alright, so we're about halfway through the level right here. I'm going to take a very specific route in this room. I want these shotgunners to move in very specific ways, and I also want these inspectors to not get lost. Okay, so that should clear out most of the shotgunners. That's the wrong weapon. Thankfully, I didn't blow myself up in the face. But that shotgunner over there is not being very happy with me. Okay, so this is a little sketchy on health, but we can make this work. I will try and make this work. It's not Doom if you don't take risks. It just isn't. Okay, so we're going to dash around. Oh, I got tagged in the corner. Well, that's why we saved. Able to get past the shotgunners. Okay. Go ahead and pull out the rocket launcher here. So I need to make a circular pass around this room. Thankfully, there is a mega armor coming up. Ow. There is a mega armor coming up so I can refill on good armor. Get the half damage reduction. Like, I can't emphasize enough how hard enemies hit in this game on this difficulty. Okay, a little safe. Nope. The Cacos are not playing nice. I think my Caco plushie is giving them commands. Alright, we'll do this with super shotgun instead. Oh. Ow. Okay. Now we're finally out of there. Thankfully, no more hit scan enemies to deal with here. Just projectiles. So we get this secret right here. We get this mega armor that's up top. Do a little bit of cleanup. Dot, if you have any other announcements, now's a good time for them.
Yeah, no further donations that came in, but I did want to say that the current total raised, we're sitting at $237.39. I know the cents doesn't pop up on the tracker on the actual layout. But no, with that, I just want to say over again, that we are all here raising money directly supporting the Alberta Children's Miracle Network Foundation hospitals. So last year we raised $6,681 for Extra Life, and here we are again. We do have a goal set, and like I said, we are $237 down the way going road. Basically, like, how can I say this? The funds directly go to Alberta Children's Hospitals as unrestricted funds, right? So that means the hospital decides where and how they spend the money to ensure dollars raised makes the biggest impact possible. So even if it's just, hey, you got $1 to spend, or even, you could just donate a couple cents and you could actually do that. Every single amount counts. So everybody who's here chilling with us this morning for the kickoff for Slurpathon 2022, it's 7:04 p.m. over here for me, so it's actually nighttime, so I'm enjoying Slurpathon throughout the night. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Dad. All right. Yeah, this has been a really, really long level, and we've got one more big room coming up right here. Hopefully I'm going to get this good BFG shot. There we go. Nice, big, barren hug. So rocket launcher, do a little bit of cleanup here. Okay, so this is why the chain gun's really good. We didn't talk about pain chances yet. Pain chance is basically the percentage chance of an enemy being stunned by an attack. And thankfully, against Lost Souls right here, the pain chance is 100%. So we can use the chain gun to lock them down, which is really good, because otherwise they'd be charging into us and probably make us explode. So we're going to get all these rockets. Thankfully, we get like 60-something rockets in this area, which is really nice. Do a little bit of cleanup here. Got to spawn block one Arachnotron, and then get in position right here. Excellent. Yeah, if you get pinned against an Arachnotron, the plasma will pretty much just instantly kill you. I cannot stress how dangerous they are in this version of the game. The balance changes made for enemies usually made them a bit more dangerous. And Arachnotrons are definitely no exception to that. Because this game doesn't have several enemies like Revenants or Archviles due to the original game's being restricted by cartridge space, basically. So they had to get creative, and they made some compromises on other monsters to make things a little bit more difficult. And you just get lots of Barons and Hell Knights and a lot of other enemies that you don't see too often. Alright, so we're going to have a fun strat right here as soon as I get rid of this Hell Knight. It's going to take the BFG. That is not the BFG. This is the BFG. We're just going to smack it. There's a lot of Arachnotron still alive over here. Okay, well that works, I guess. We'll just use the BFG and just smack it a few times. A little bit less health than I'd like leaving this level, but it should be okay. So all that's left is the exit room. So one BFG shot should do the trick right here. And that's Wretched Vats. So down to 2 levels now. Alright, so this is the longest level to run generally. It's definitely the most dangerous overall. There's a lot of really cool combat. And there's also some really odd things with aiming. This map is notorious for dealing with the block map bug. Basically, that's a little bit of a bug in the Doom engines. That kind of checks hit scan attacks against enemies and makes things miss. I won't go into detail about it, but it makes things frustrating sometimes with like your super shotgun just going right through a specific enemy. So if you see me aiming at very weird angles, it's probably to avoid the block map bug in this area. So we've got a lot of combat to do here, and this next room is notorious for ending runs, both over ILs and for full game. So I'm going to take a very specific route here. I'm going to make the walls lower by getting on the pillar here. I'm going to book it out of here, hopefully not get hit by something. Ah, got caught. That's okay. That's why we saved. We're actually going to save again right here. Let's try that again. Looking on over here. Get into the space before I get crammed by a bunch of enemies. So now we're pretty safe. So I'm going to activate this secret right here. So big mega armor with some plasma. Very, very needed. Oh good, the pain elemental's all the way down the hallway, which is actually good. if the Pain Elemental would try and spawn too close to a wall, then the Lost Souls won't actually spawn. So that makes things a lot safer. Otherwise, we'd have to do a very tricky BFG shot to kill that Pain Elemental. So we'll grab that secret there. Save right here. Slip around that guy. So a lot of combat to deal with right here. Here comes the Mancubi. They're doing some infighting too, which makes things a little easier. Definitely keeps them off my back. And we actually have this really cool skip that I found for this secret area coming up. So you normally have to do a really, really long switch puzzle to get this berserk. But you can also just skip half the puzzle by tapping that switch early from the edge, which is really convenient. That saves like 20 seconds over actually doing the puzzle. So we're going to do a little bit more cleanup now. Oh, come on. Alright, so now we can finally get the first key in this level. Got 2 more keys to find. Okay. That should be everything there. Now we'll go and get to the Soul Sphere secret right here. I'm a little low on BFG ammo, so I'm just going to go ahead and use some rockets. I should end with extra rockets anyways. Okay, so this area also has another cool skip. We're going to do another key bump coming up. It's going to be a little bit different this time. I'm only going to push one of the 2 switches needed, but I'm going to be doing this while going down these pillars that you see. So I need a very specific setup to make this work, and I'm going to have to kill all these enemies early so they don't block me. So, hi, Keko. Hi, Keko. In the meantime, we're going to pick up some extra rockets. Like, the supplies are very scarce, so we're going to be using pretty much everything as far as rockets and other supplies go. So 2 Pain Elemental spawn right here, so we're going to use the BFG to deal with them, so make this a lot safer. They both actually died in one, which is nice. So I can use the extra shot to clear out the Lost Souls. Make sure all these Kako demons are out of the way. Alright. Chain gun for a little bit of cleanup here. Plenty of Lost Souls in this room. But otherwise, it's a pretty straightforward room here. Supplies. Actually have a lot of health, which is good. So we're going to back up here. We're going to save. We're going to line up. This should get it. Oh, no, it was off. Hold on. Make sure we're backed up properly. That should be good. There we go. So that skips another set of enemy spawns if we were to hit the second switch needed to lower that. So that saves a bunch.
We have a question in chat from Senpai. What exactly is the BMG? Is that the same big fancy gun? I thought it was the big friendly gun.
It actually stands for Doom Guy. Doom Guy runs around everywhere, so it actually stands for Big Fat Glutes.
Big fat glutes. There it is. Wow.
Yeah, the 9,000 actually just represents his speed. That is the lore.
You know, also what's pretty big and fat with a P? This $100 donation that we just got in from APZX with no comment. Thank you so much. I'll try to reach out. APZX, if you are in chat, please get with me because we do have some videos going on. If we don't get in contact with you, then it's probably just going to be those trends. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, we're almost to the end of this. Gonna grab a couple more rockets. Gonna do one more big fight right here. Use the BFG. Get rid of the ruffle. I've got all my remaining rockets here. We'll just use those. Thankfully, gonna be able to put this out pretty quickly. I've got plenty of health, thankfully, just in case something goes wrong in the last room, because something can definitely go wrong in the last room. So this level ends with one very, very mean surprise coming up. We're going to clear them out. We're going to save, switch over to the BFG. This ends with 3 Pain Elementals just staring you down. So that's why I saved some ammo here. Because we don't want them to spawn stuff. I think everything's gone. We're going to save to be sure. Hopefully that's going to be our 100% in this level. Okay, that's everything. So that brings us to the last level of this campaign. This is Final Judgment. There are no secrets in this level. This is just going to be one giant killing spree. So this is the Unmaker. By the way, things are going to get very, very loud. You hear that laser sound? You're going to be hearing that a lot very quickly. So the gimmick of this map is that we need to get the 3 demon artifacts that upgrade the Unmaker, and then we need to use that to kill the Mother Demon off, which will end the map. Now the trick here is that killing the Mother Demon does end the map. I need to make sure I've killed everything else before she dies. So we're going to be taking a very, very specific route here. I'm going to be saving her in there. So we're going to get these pain elementals. I don't want lost souls going everywhere. Oh, and by the way, there are a bunch of cyber demons around. So we're going to very quick to avoid rockets. And just basically use these explosives as much as we can. I missed the enemy. There it is. Make sure I get that imp as well. So the Unmaker fires lasers, but it's actually a hit scan weapon. So actually the laser effect is just kind of just there for show. So it actually targets things instantly. So put that last pain elemental right there. Gonna get an energy refill right here, hopefully.
Why did it look like somebody just like hit the fattest vape?
I know, right?
That's like.
Oh, I
forgot. The smoke, or is it just like the I don't know? Somebody's like hitting something.
Okay, so we have a little bit of a conundrum here. We actually have the 2 enemies infighting, and I don't want to kill the Mother Demon yet. So we're gonna kill off that cyber first. Now we're gonna just BFG hug everything. Thankfully, these cybers are on like really low health. I guess they've been doing a lot of infighting. I'm going to do a quick sweep of the map just to make sure I don't miss something. I'm going to actually save it just in case. So, okay. So we're going to do a quick sweep of the map, make sure I didn't miss anything important. Because time will be coming up when the results comes up if we got our 100%. And that's time. Oh. It's a very, very stressful last map. But hey, that is Lost Levels. Watch Me Die Max. I hope y'all enjoyed that.
Wow. GG.
So we get a little bit of an ending, about as good as the original campaign's ending. So you just defeat the Resurrector, have an eternal path through Doom, setting us up for 2016 and Eternal. So, but that is not the only thing I have for y'all. We do have a little bit of bonus because y'all were generous enough to meet the incentive for the fun levels. So the fun levels, the fun levels are, there are 3 normal fun levels and there's 1 added in the remaster. And these levels are basically warp only. They're just for fun, depending on how fun you find them. We will WMD max all 4 of these maps. They're pretty quick and they're also pretty hard. So we'll go ahead and get started with cat and mouse right here.
Awesome. Best of luck.
Thank you. So we're going to dart right off to the side. Each of these maps has at least 1 cyber demon that's going to be chasing us everywhere. So the gimmick of this is that this cyber demon likes to teleport when he crosses certain line defs in the maze. So we're just going to stop him from crossing those line defs by just having him stay in this room. I say that, but he went off somewhere. Where did he go? Okay. Oh, no, there's the teleport in action right there. But he shouldn't teleport again, so this is good. So we're going to grab these rockets right here. Uh-oh. No, I don't like this. He's not staying. Please come over here. Okay. So fighting cyber demons with rocket launcher is very difficult for a number of reasons. Cyber demons in this game compared to PC Doom are very tall, and you wouldn't think that actually makes a difference, but that means that they actually aim their rockets down at you, and that can cause issues with splash damage. And considering we have no armor, that's an actual problem. The other problem is damage. Cyber demons are immune to splash damage. Oh, there you go. There's 1 map down. So they're immune to splash damage. Only direct rocket attacks will do any damage, which means a lot of that damage from the rocket launcher is negated. So it takes a lot of rockets to kill them. Alright, so this is hardcore. This is my least favorite. This is a really, really aggravating map here. So there's a bunch of Mancubi. We're going to go pick up this Megasphere that makes the Erectron spawn. So we need to kill all the Erectrons in order to spawn the Cyber Demon, but we also need to get rid of the Mancubi because we are doing this WMD max. So I'm going to use this camping ground here, just kind of kind of hold my ground for a bit. Thankfully,
This is turning into the bullet hell.
I know, it really is. Thankfully, enemies are being very generous with their movements and coming towards me, so we're getting a lot of good splash damage. So we'll do a little bit of cleanup now with plasma. Not too much. I actually do want to use some rockets here. So, like I said, the rocket launcher is not very effective on Cyber, so we want to try to use the rockets on other enemies where we can. Also, enemies like to pop up everywhere, so this is an extremely dangerous map. It's not uncommon to unfortunately blast yourself in the face with a rocket because an enemy decided to spawn right in front of you. Unfortunately, I'm very low on supplies already. I did not get a whole lot of infighting done. I need to kill that last Arachnotron because killing the Arachnotron also spawns some super shotgun stuff. So that's spawned. I have like no health, so this is extremely scary. We're gonna go and pick up all these shells and the SSG. I'm not really sure how I want to do this. I'm gonna quick save probably everywhere. This is the longest and by far the most difficult of the fun levels. So if I get through this, then we'll be okay. But Cyber Demon's off to the side. Oh, there he is. Uh-oh, now the Cyber Demon's teleporting around. So let's figure out where the Cyber Demon is. There he is. I don't remember where the spawn point is once he crosses a certain line depth, so we're just going to have to play very safe here. Almost took a rocket in the face. The Cyber Demons have very low pain chances, but you have to watch out for a pain chance because that resets the rocket count. They fire their rockets and volleys through. That's bad. That's an unfortunate death. Oh, that's actually quite a bit ways back. I will try and focus for a little bit here. Since I'm down on health again. Where is that? Thank goodness. Oh, hello. That is not a position I want to see you in. Splash damage. Like I said, this is my least favorite fun level. It's just so scary. And fighting on the stairs, fighting on the stairs is not good either. There's a lot of momentum preservation whenever you walk over an edge. So, oh, there's another Mancubus right here. Hello. Okay. Okay, let's deal with him. That's how Doom 64 just somehow goes. That's how this game is. It just brutally terrorizes you the entire time. Sometimes you get good luck and you get really good patterns, and sometimes you get stuff like this. I need him to walk down. I do not feel comfortable fighting him there. And this splash damage is absolutely killing me. Literally. Okay, we're gonna do...
Yeah, this is rough.
We're gonna do a little sneaky peeky with this super shotgun here. Tip and hit scan. I think the map designer actually intended for you to fight the cyber with just the super shotgun. Maybe with some plasma, but definitely not with a whole lot of stuff. Well, it'll technically go by faster than using rockets, since we don't suffer from the blast damage immunity. He's just not playing nice, though. Apparently there's no line depth for him to skip teleport around. Hello. This is the worst level. I wish the plasma gun was more effective too. Like, the plasma gun is not good on cybers either, mostly just because it has the reduced fire rate. Okay, I think he's coming over here, so we can try and plasma him out from far away. Okay, finally we're out of hardcore.
Nice.
Oh, that level is just it's a fun level. All right, so this is Playground. This one's actually pretty neat. I think this is probably my favorite of the original 3. So there's a whole bunch of invisibility spheres, and you think invisibility is really good in this game. It is good for hit scan enemies. The problem is that using it for projectile-based attacks like Arachnotrons, they just kind of scatter everywhere. Now, surprisingly, I'm not getting hits. It was a very lucky fight. Alright, so we're going to grab this Mega Sphere, and surprise, another Cyber Demon. And we only have the rocket launcher. But thankfully, this space is wide open. Unfortunately, I just took a rocket to the face. And this is really scary because the rockets are also affected by the invisibility, so I can easily just run into one. So we're going to hopefully have the invisibility wear off. They wear off after, I think, 30 seconds? It might be 60. I also do like the dark look of the playground. Okay, so that's down, but we still have Menkabad to deal with. So we're going to take the rest of these rockets here, and hopefully not get smacked in the face by fireballs. And that takes down Playground.
Wow.
Okay,
Wow.
so that is the original 3 fun levels. We have one more. This is the additional one added in the remaster. This is Panic. It's very aptly named, as you will see right here. We're going to grab the equipment right here. We're going to run towards this BFG in cells. And anytime you're on this like outer ring, you get homing rockets fired at you. So, yeah. There's a lot of running around and avoiding rockets. And the Arachnotrons also teleport. Now, this has one last cool trick. We do have one last spawn prevention that we can do here. I'm going to stand right on this X right here. And I'm just going to prevent a Cyber Demon from even spawning. So now I only have to deal with one of them. So we've got the Cyber. We've got our BFG. We're going to wait for one more shot here. Come here. Oh, and he didn't die in 2. I got unlucky. I also had kind of a bad last shot. So we're just going to have to dance around for a bit. I guess that's an exciting way to finish off. Thankfully, the Cyber does not teleport. That would be very, very sketchy if so. Wow, I really did nothing on one of those BFT shots. Alrighty, there we go. And that is Panic, and that is the fun levels.
Awesome. Wonderful job. That's awesome to watch as well. I mean, it seemed like a lot of hardcore amounts of fun as well.
Yes.
GG.
GG's. Alrighty. Well, that's going to be it for me for today. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little Doom 64 little hell showcase, I guess. So, that's it for me for today. I will be back on Saturday for Pump It Up during the first rhythm game block. But y'all should stay tuned for what's coming up next. So, thanks y'all for having me for now. And see y'all later in the marathon. Have fun.
Cool. Wonderful. Zelllooo, thank you so much for submitting both of those games and the wonderful runs. So it's also very wonderful just spending time with you in this space. You're always just a fantastic speedrunner, and it's just very, very wholesome when we get you on board. So yes, as Zelllooo said, please stick around. We have more runs to come from here. Bring it to the Be Right Back screen. We'll see you soon.